Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Agirim Janalinova, and I'm honored to serve as a co-chair of the Catalyst Now of Kazakhstan chapter. Today's session is held on as a part of Catalyst Change Week, and today's topic is business, ESG, and communication driving social impact. So next slide.
So, hi everyone, this is Shahar. I'm the Asia coordinator for Catalyst Now. A bit of housekeeping. Please keep your video on if possible. We'd love to get to know you and your company. So, drop your details out in the chat box. Unmute when you speak. And if you have any technical questions, you can reach out to Zoom.us support or raise your hand. I'd be happy to answer. And most importantly of all, please enjoy the session. Thank you.
So today's session is held as part of Catalyst Change Week. As I mentioned before, this is a global movement where Catalyst chapters around the world are hosting events and talks and activations to spark dialogue. So we are proud to represent Kazakhstan in this international momentum. And our topic today I also already mentioned. So before to start, we would like to share some video with you. We have some important video to share, so please.
Welcome to day 2 of Catalyzing Change Week 2025. The future of our planet depends on choices we make today. That's why today we are focusing on planet well-being and water justice, intergenerational innovation, and the future of our cities and livelihoods. In 2024, the damage bill from climate-related events was $1.4 trillion. The projected economic losses due to climate change by 2025 will be over 12.5 trillion. And over 2 billion people will face life-changing risks from climate change. Innovators are finding new ways to protect ecosystems, respond to urgent crises, and secure safe, sustainable access to the world's most vital resource. Today, you will meet climate innovators, water justice advocates, city planners, livelihood creators, and young leaders, working side by side with experienced voices. This is a space to share solutions, learn from best practices, and imagine how communities can thrive in the face of change. Welcome to the session presented by Catalyst Now.
So thank you very much for being here and for being part of Catalyst Change Week. Let's make powerful, inspiring, actionable conversation. And now I'll hand it over to Asel to begin.
Thanks, Aigirim. Hello, everyone. My name is Asilia Musheva. I'm a specialist in sustainable development, ESG communications, and community building. And my work lies in the intersection of business strategy and marketing, social innovation, responsible leadership, where ESG becomes not only a compliance requirement, but a source of long-term value and positive change. Also, I'm the co-founder and the executive director of the Nazarbayev University Graduate School of Business Alumni Association. Also, I am a member of the project's office of Association of Social Innovators in Kazakhstan. And in addition, I am a member of Association of Compliance and Business Ethics in Kazakhstan. So altogether, I do my best to contribute to promoting ethical businesses, practices, transparency, and also a culture of accountability in corporate environments and for small and medium businesses, etc. I'm also the founder of Positive Impact Agency. So it is like about communication and ESG consultancy. So we support companies, SME, and institutions in integrating sustainability principles into strategy, stakeholder engagement, and also external communication. So my focus is on helping organizations to translate ESG from abstract terminology into real and measurable actions, whether through impact reporting, community partnerships, business development, and like internal culture change, storytelling, also that of course like supposed to build trust. And overall in my work, I see ESG not as a trend, but as a transformation of how business understands responsibility, value creation, and its relationship with society, like with communities. And today, like in my presentation, I will speak about how ESG drives this transition. So, and like here you see like ESG, and it stands like for three components, like environmental, social, governance. And what I see, like here, like in Kazakhstan, that often still it is like misunderstood as simply reporting or compliance. But for me, and like for like my team, ESG is much deeper. It's like a model of leadership. So like environmental, it's about how we use resources and how we impact the planet, like environment, nature. Social is about how we treat people. It's of course like our employees, our customers, how we establish relationship with communities. And then of course it is like governance. So it's about how decisions are made, like if it is transparently, if it is fair, and if it is responsible. And for decades, business success was measured mainly through financial indicators, like revenue, EBITDA, like return on investments, return on equity, etc. But now what we see all over the world is ESG expands success towards triple value logic. So it's like value for business, of course, like profit. Then it is like value for people, and the value, of course, like for our planet. And this does not replace profit, but it protects and strengthens long-term profit, like for companies, for society. And next slide, please. And here you can see why ESG has become necessary now. We now can observe like four major global drivers. So first, this is like generational value shift. So like for new generations, especially like for our like Zoom generation, the young one, we see that they value a lot like purpose, they value inclusion, responsibility, and they're very conscious about like choosing the employers, companies, brands. For them, it is really important that those are aligned with their identity and with their like values. The second, what also like I think that all of us also can see that we experience already climate and ecological pressure, and climate risk is now a real financial risk. So like all affected, like supply chains, like insurance, like infrastructure, agriculture. Then of course, like important transparency in the digital era. So all of us, we are really visible, like in social media, in internet, and also like what all of us can observe, that reputation can shift in one day, really like instantly, easily, and this authenticity and like honesty, like with your audience, it is no longer optional. It is really like supposed to be strategic. And last but not the least, of course, like transformation from like regulation. Even like here in Kazakhstan, we see that each year like more like legislation like being introduced, and also like what we can observe, like that ESG disclosure standards are being like introduced like worldwide. So like, for example, like those standards like S1 and S2, then like corporate sustainability reporting directive in European Union taxonomy. This is all like new global business language. So like we can conclude that companies who prepare early and who already started to work in this direction, those they will lead. And companies who delay, they, I guess, you know, after some time they will face economic and reputational barriers for them. Next slide. And here you can see those like multiple benefits of ESG for companies. Here we can see how ESG creates value. And still, like in perception of people, ESG is associated with cost very often. But what I would like to note is that when ESG is integrated strategically, then like ESG definitely enhances the competitiveness of company or organization. And there are several dimensions, if to summarize, that in terms of reputation, that it builds trust among clients, investors, public, other stakeholders. Then it is about, of course, capital, because it provides easier access to financing, to investors, to different like financial institutions, and of course, like it provides like better lending conditions. Then it gives access to a wider pool of talent. As I mentioned before, people they're keen to want to work and stay with those companies and organizations where values are lived. And then, of course, it is efficiency, like sustainable resource use, reduces operational costs, and of course, like increases efficiency. And like we can see that ESG challenges, they stimulate actually like new business models. Also, it enhances innovation. And what I can notice also that ESG, it is not about obligation, it is like a competitive advantage. Next slide, please. Earlier, ESG was seen as risk mitigation mainly, and today ESG is a strategy for value creation. Here you can see like all those like aspects, and we can also like take some examples. For example, company reduces like energy waste, and then it saves money and also lowers like emissions. When company invests in employee well-being, it reduces like turnover, and of course it improves productivity. Then company supports local communities, and by this it gains like more loyalty, and it provides like more stable social environment. So ESG reveals a simple truth: the company is strong when ecosystem around is strong. And of course, like we all understand that business does not exist like separately from society. Of course, it is part of it. Next slide, please. And this slide and following ones, they are like about ESG in Kazakhstan, like our like current situation about it. And what I can say that it is like evolution in motion. Kazakhstan now developing its sustainability architecture in very active way. And so you can see that there are some like key developments. We can observe like growth of green and social bonds, and more and more financial institutions, they integrating ESG assessment tools. And for them already from this year, it's mandatory, so they should follow like with those like new requirements. Then it's, of course, it is expansion of impact-driven and inclusive programs. We established our national goals on like carbon neutrality by 2016. And also like we can see increased collaboration with those like institutions as UNDP, ADB, and of course like European Bank Reconstruction and Development, OSCE, and also like this institutionalization of sustainability standards through regulators, it's like overall it creates a strategic moment of possibility, and we also can hear this like the different events like forums, conferences going on here in Kazakhstan, that Kazakhstan has a really good chance to become like regional center for sustainability transformation in Central Asia. But of course, like we understand that this success depends on institutional leadership, skilled ESG professionals, and public-private partnerships, and like, again, like the last but not the least, like cultural readiness inside organizations. And now we are in the first decade of transition, but these decisions already they defined our like way in this direction. Yeah, next slide, please. Here you can see this slide highlights the key measures guiding Kazakhstan pathway toward carbon neutrality by 2060. And national strategy focuses on systematic transformation across several priority sectors. So this includes the modernization of industry to reduce emissions, transition to cleaner and more efficient energy sources, development of sustainable and climate resilient agriculture and transport, and strengthening of sustainable finance, of course, as you saw above, to support like green investments. And as it was mentioned before, like a crucial component of the transition is the financial sector's role, and a lot of work was done in this direction to align like capital flows with our like climate objectives. And this like climate stress test was carried out, and 11 main banks, they were assessed, and results helped identify climate-related financial risks and informed reforms in order to expand those like green lending practices. And this demonstrates how financial oversight can directly support national climate goals in order to encourage investments into low carbon and innovative sectors. Next slide, please. So here you can see stages of ESG implementation, like in Kazakhstan, like a financial market, and also like our legislation. This roadmap, like those milestones, they show how ESG is being gradually integrated into Kazakhstan financial sector. From 2023, banks began ESG disclosure on like voluntary basis. And in next year, ESG risk management principles were like introduced and integrated into overall risk frameworks. And this year, ESG disclosure by financial institutions, they become mandatory. And also this year, financial institution they continue to conduct these like climate stress tests in order to assess financial stability under like climate risk scenarios. And as it was announced, by the end of this year, financial institution will like disclosure standards will be updated to align with standards like IFRS S1 and S2. And in 2026, banks they will begin assessing like the carbon footprint of their loan portfolios. And so we can say that overall this transition builds like a more transparent, resilient, and globally aligned financial system. Next slide, please. And about legal frameworks for sustainable finance. Like over the past few years, like our country has introduced several key regulations, like environmental code, new one, the green taxonomy. Also, as far as I know, that social projects taxonomy is on the way, and also like this law on green and social bonds was introduced in 2022, and also this like national sustainable finance strategy to 2060 was introduced as well. And together, like these frameworks, they create clear rules for environmental standards and sustainable investments. And one of the bright examples that on the right, you can see the We Finance Code launched in 2024 to support like women entrepreneurs. Its goals are to increase access to financing, improve data transparency, and strengthen women leadership in financial sector. And this demonstrates that Kazakhstan's approach to sustainable finance includes both climate goals and social inclusion as well. Next slide, please. Before this one. Please, next, yes. So here, previous one, please, slide. Could you please switch to previous slide? No, like a previous one. No, this is the last one. So could you please switch to slide before? Yes, this one, I think. And this slide highlights how ESG transitions into real measurable impact, especially for small and medium enterprises in Kazakhstan. So we have in place this Association of Social Innovators, which plays a key role by developing social entrepreneurs, their like businesses, supporting like impact finance, and building ecosystems that enable inclusive and sustainable economic growth. Here also you can see that at the same time, effective ESG communication is essential. And in my opinion, and I think that my colleagues, they would share this my point of view, that ESG, it's not about only like reporting. It's about building gradual trust. It's about aligning purpose with action, and about engaging stakeholders in meaningful way. So this includes transparent reporting and collaboration, like strategic collaboration with media and communities in order to ensure that corporate purpose translates into positive social outcomes. And altogether, business, government, social innovators, like social entrepreneurs, they're shaping a resilient economy where ESG is not only a trend, but like long-term, like national competitiveness. Next slide, please. This slide highlights how ESG transition creates real opportunities for social entrepreneurs. First, of course, it is like new market demands that are emergent for sustainable products and services, works. Then like green tech, where social enterprises are naturally like strong innovators. Second, this is like growing ESG focused funding, including like impact investors, green financing programs, which are like actively seek ventures that align with sustainability goals. Also, like in Kazakhstan as well, we can see increasing corporate partnerships as large companies they look to collaborate with social entrepreneurs in order to improve their supply chains and in order to increase like their community impact. And in addition, social enterprises, they can help fill like those ESG gaps by providing their expertise on environmental, social challenges, and also they can benefit from expanding need for ESG reporting and verification services. So you can see here that ESG encourages new business models, such as like circular economy, which is really like well known and like popular in Kazakhstan. Also, it encourages like shared value approaches by placing purposeful impact alongside profitability. And here we can conclude that ESG is not just compliance at all, but it is a pathway for social entrepreneurs to scale meaningful and financially sustainable solutions. And this slide shows how social entrepreneurs can strategically position themselves within the ESG landscape. First, it is important to clearly align your mission with like specific ESG objectives, like your material topics, whether it's climate action, social equality, and like well-being, ethical governance. And by demonstrating this like industry-specific understanding and highlighting the inherent ESG value of your product or like service, of course, it strengthens your positioning. Second, credibility is built through transparency, trust, honesty, like consistency, and this means adopting recognized reporting standards like GRI or like TCFD, seeking independent verification or certification from accredited bodies when it's possible. And of course, it's about like consistently engaging stakeholders from investors to community partners. And altogether, these steps, they help social entrepreneurs move from being impact-driven to being recognized and trusted contributors in the broader ESG ecosystem. Please, previously. Here on this slide, also you can see how social entrepreneurs can scale their impact through ESG alignment. Still, previous slide, please. The last one, yes. And by aligning with ESG criteria, they can attract impact investment, form strategic partnerships, expand into new sustainability-driven markets. And to make this impact visible, it's important, of course, like to measure and communicate results clearly by establishing those like ESG communication. And here important is to define key impact metrics, collect consistent data, and translate the results into compelling narratives, report regularly, and respond to stakeholder feedback. Here I can conclude that strong ESG performance builds a long-term competitive advantage for companies, SMEs, organizations. It enhances brand reputation, reduces operational and reputational risks, drives innovation, as ESG challenges often inspire new solutions and business models, as I mentioned before. Looking ahead, also I can notice that opportunities, they will continue to grow in areas such as deep green technologies, like green sustainable finances, AI for impact measurements, circular economy models, and transparent, responsible supply chains. And those social entrepreneurs who can stay like adaptive and forward-looking, they can position themselves as leaders in this emerging sustainable economy. So this is all. If you have like questions, so please.
Yes, thank you very much, Asiel. Thank you very much for this kind of detailed explanation of ESG principles within the big corporations and how social entrepreneurs can gain from this concept. So yes, we have several questions. Maybe we'll go through them. I can read you some of them. First, for example, with climate change, how can ESG serve as a mitigation effort? Haider Hamza Raja asks, with climate change, how can ESG serve as a mitigation effort?
But about this, I can say like from like our like Kazakhstani experience, that you know that our some regions in Kazakhstan, they suffer like from floods. You know, this like spring season, and it is real like constant issue for those regions, and people, they affected a lot. So 1 year they can be affected more, 1 year less, but still this risk is being stable for this like specific region and for those communities, and like those like financial institutions in Kazakhstan, because for them it is mandatory to follow those like ESG requirements in Kazakhstan, and in their like work practices. So when they like assess like projects for like loans, then you know they supposed like to keep in mind this risk. And for example, when they have like two similar projects in terms of profitability, those projects were like were kind of supposed to help support people about this like flood, and in order to prevent those situations, how like consequences for people of those situations with floods. So of course, financial institution like bank, they will support this like specific project, because they're they have this, as I mentioned before, they have this like frameworks in place how they assess these like perspective projects for them. So all through those requirements, legislation, standards, and in here in Kazakhstan, we have more GRI standards implemented, and as I said before, those financial institutions, if they're located in these specific regions, they need to choose this material topic about this specific risk, that floods, so they're related to climate change in case of Kazakhstan. So if I answered.
Thank you. And another question, how can small nonprofits incorporate ESG principles in their work? Because you mostly mentioned big corporations, like financial institutions and etc. But how can small nonprofits incorporate ESG principles in their work?
The same question we discuss here in Kazakhstan, because still it is applicable for as you said, for big companies, big corporation, for national companies, and about for example non-profit, small and medium enterprises. Still it is in transition, but just this month I participated in several forums, conferences, and already experts, they discussed that these SME and specifically social entrepreneurs, non-profit organizations who are engaged with some commercial activities, they kind of need to prepare, start to prepare that after some time it also will reach them as well. And those requirements which are now in Kazakhstan started from those companies who are polluting environment, oil and gas companies, mining companies, financial institutions, because for ESG those sustainable finances are really important. But after some time, it will also affect SMEs and non-profit organizations. But
so it's a matter of time, right? So
yes,
they started from the big organizations.
And also for SMEs, social entrepreneurs, and for non-profit organization, I think it is important to keep in mind that these ESG approaches, they are kind of beneficial. So it is creates opportunity for them to collaborate with those big corporations, because if for them it is mandatory, those ESG strategy, policies, they're reporting each year. So just what you need to do, you need to kind of make your own research, because those companies, they share their reports, corporate social responsibility, ESG reports in their websites. So you just can see what are their goals, what are their material topics, what is important for them for those specific regions. So then you can offer them your solutions and kind of be competitive, about these sponsorship opportunities, about public-private partnerships. So in Kazakhstan, it is like this. And as non-profit organization, even if you're a small one, so you can use this opportunity like for your like benefit.
Also, at the beginning, I missed one question from Jacob. He's from Texas. He asks, I haven't thought about this until this call, but I'm curious how the infrastructure and implementation of AI, artificial intelligence, has impacted how companies approach ESG. So it touches every aspect of ESG. So as you know, artificial intelligence is very like commonly used in many big companies and their infrastructures, and many new tools appeared with AI. Do you know maybe some information regarding how it is currently approached for ESG and or how impacted?
About AI application, you know, like in Kazakhstan, those talks started about first like responsible application of AI, about ethical practices. So this is like one side, and also like how like companies they can like apply those like solutions in order to collect, you know, ESG data, because still like ESG practices, it's about like, as I mentioned before, about collecting like this data on like regular basis consistently, and then analyze and to take some informed decisions about their like management practices, about like business development strategies like for companies and organizations. So like this.
I think yes, artificial intelligence, our AI makes everything quicker, maybe. Yeah, and we can do more focused with that tools as well. So we have a couple of questions. Catalyst Learning Services asks, hello, Asila and Team Catalyst now. Thank you for the pertinent session. This is Neha on behalf of Catalyst Learning Services, India. We have been training the youth for careers in social sector sustainability and climate action since 2011. Would be very keen to know from your and the skills and competence needed to work professionally in the ESG sector. Thank you. So now, Asiel, you are the expert of ESG, right? So for the young people, how they can do the same as you, what maybe platforms we have to learn ESG or get some certificates maybe.
There are several like frameworks, system of standards for like ESG reporting. As I mentioned before, there is this like global reporting initiative. So they have like their academy, and online you has access like to these like academy courses. And of course, you know, it's on like paid basis, but still like in my view, it is not so costly actually, like for this like knowledge and certification. So like there are like standards those for like about financial reporting and about non-financial reporting, and GRI it's about non-financial reporting. So in case like you do not have like financial background or like education, like individuals, they can be certified, you know, in order to start this like GRI like reporting like as a service like for companies and organizations. And like also there is like system of like financial standards. It's like IFRS like S1 and S2, also like TCFD, and this like CSRD. So some of them they're like more like international, and like for European Union, there is also like a separate set of standards. So it depends on how, like, on your background. So like if you're like more interested into financial standards, so then like you can explore like those like IFRS S1 and S2 CFD standards. And if it is about non-financial reporting, and in Kazakhstan, you know, it's kind of like more like applicable now at the moment. So those, they're like global reporting initiative, and all of those like kind of resources, so you can like reach online, and you know, like study their courses online, and then like to be certified in order like, to be kind of this like certified specialist, to prepare like those like sustainability like reports like for companies. So like this.
Great. I'll be taking over from Adrian's side. So we have another question. I believe it's the last one. So how can small organizations effectively implement ESG strategies?
About like first, I think it is important to understand and kind of to be conscious like for those like small organizations, because you know, like specifically it's like those small organizations, they are limited, yes, like about their resources, about their like finances, like people, time, and this like you know, it's just standards, they're quite kind of like there is like quite big number like of those standards, and you should understand like what you need to implement those standards into your practices. For example, if you are looking for investments, yes, if you want to qualify like for some like financial support from some like impact investment fund, then you need kind of to consider like requirements of this specific fund, in order not to waste like your resources and your time. Um, um, but nowadays, even like for small organizations and like and for big organizations as well, you know, it is more like applicable if you're looking for some like investments for some like sustainable finances, like to attract investments from like impact investments fund, or if you want to issue like those like ESG bonds, like green bonds, social bonds. So it is how in Kazakhstan, you know, how it works like.
Thank you very much, Aysel. So thank you very much, colleagues, for joining us today. So let's wrap up this session. I think it was very fruitful. Please join us on this Catalyst Change Week. We have very nice and different master classes from different experts. So hope to see you soon. Thank you, Aysel, very much.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.